Pound LRH.
It's cloudy.
All
as
our amigos
fuck here
are. Shout
today.
outs to everybody at Pound LRH. And I think I'll let a few other people in on the secret right here. This is IRC
Streams up.
DND number. Oh, cool. And then fucking where it's just timed out right as this is gonna begin. Angie, remind me to put that quote that you had earlier about the heat that lady was packing being like 12 Big Mac. I gotta put that at the end of this. At the end of this, I want it to be the fucking title. That was amazing. Let's see. IRC D&D 12.
Pump this.
I know, right? We gotta let everybody know. So I let Firm Chats know on Jenks Hugbox Network. I guess it's int 80, but like that name just does not roll off of the tongue. I let Pound Not Math on
It's
Liberia.
an old Linux system call.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Like I had
Interrupt
no idea.
80.
What does it mean when you interrupt 80?
It's a software interrupt, so that's how Linux and probably Unix decided to do their system calls. I think Microsoft used 23, but now there's a dedicated instruction for it.
So is this like back in the time of IRQs and stuff like that, or is it a whole different thing?
Yeah, this is like 70s, 80s, 90s operating system.
All right, and I think we'll just let the Pound LRH know this is happening too. They're doing the Grady Judd thing. This thing was fucking amazing. Where he pulled out a big stuffed Pokemon and did a voice for it. That sheriff is like too fucking entertaining, man. It's like the only good thing in Florida, right there.
I'm sure.
All right. So yeah, hey everybody, if you haven't joined in before, this is Internet Relay Chat D&D. We've been on 12 adventures so far. Let me introduce our stalwart adventurers right here. You have Angie in the far left corner with her bear Fisk. That's Mila the dog. But Angie is our ranger, and her bear companion Fisk can be seen in the background of Zartet's screen. Then we have Kuntz, the legendary fire mage, bearer of the enchanted crotch goblet. Then at the bottom left, we have Logic, the thief, demon slayer, and I think he had another title there too. I think it was like Edit Ace, but not in this.
Ladies man.
Ladies man. I don't think there have been any ladies in this story. I think we would fail that Bechdel test in like about 2 seconds right there. Yes, I'll do this. The fuck. And then we have Zartet the druid. And not only is Zartet our druid, he's also a master archivist, and he will recount what's happened in our past few adventures right here.
Absolutely. So last session we had just procured a silver seed from the Lady of the Laughing Star. We were in her kind of mountain hall there. While doing that, we camped around this pristine lake up in the mountains outside of the lady's lair, where Angie encountered Fisk the bear and brought him back to camp. The next day after we camped there, we decided to head south along the Metris towards Saradil, noticing that life is more pristine in these parts. We will need to get to the Darameus, and a strong warrior clan of crocodile riders seems just the trick. As we move deeper into their domain, we notice faces and animal totems carved in the trees. There's a feeling we're being watched. Fisk, in his element, sniffing out food. Zartet feeds him a good berry and gives him a chin scratch. Fisk is warming up to us. Zartet leads the party forward because he's been to Cyrodiil before 30 years ago and hears bird calls coming from the rough. But he knows this to be calls of people who are following us. He hears a four-legged creature moving through the brush. Night is falling on the moth-eyed jungle, but we're on a mission and move to the Stilt City. Fisk comes to a stop and Angie tells us to get down. Poison darts volley down from the trees but miss us. Kuntz begins to cast haste on Angie. Logic drops to the ground and starts cranking the crossbow. Zartet raises his hands trying to call them off and calm the party. Haste takes hold of Angie, sapping a year off her life and speeding up her voice as she calls out to the Ceradillans. They are puzzled by her strange voice, never hearing anything like it before in their lives. They tell us to raise our hands, drop our weapons. 20-something warriors come into view under the light of the laughing star. A tonsured man, festooned with colorful feathers and whatnot, steps forth, telling us to not be aggressive or else we will die. His name is Rask. Through Kuntz, Zartet explains to Rask the situation in the Darameus and the blight on the fern and fauna of the surrounding land. Rask explains that they too have had to turn people away and in worst cases kill the blighted in massive bonfires. The South Sea where they fish is red with blight and nothing fished there is edible. After more discussion about the strangeness of the land, they offer to lead us to their chief in Stilt City because we appear to know what we're talking about, have a cool bear, and most importantly are not blighted. As we approach the city, Fisk becomes uneasy at the sight of Ceradill's specialized crocodiles, but is calmed by Angie. Everything is built up on stilts at rope bridges, but the village seems to be bustling somewhat. We pass a bonfire stoked with human bones. Rask leads us to a hut and gives us instructions on how to interact with Wabigo, for he's a very powerful man. Fisk and Angie remain behind outside the hut. Entering, we take view of a scene of low-key debauchery with large concubines lying about. Rask presents us, and Wabigo's herald tells us of his legend. He's the greatest shaman chief alive, made love to the sea for so long it became tired and lied flat on the earth, never rising again. He created the mountains for a place to hang his hat, and the first woman came from a stone in a pimple of his cheek and has been trouble since. A small, shrunken, wrinkled man with a pot belly, he presents us with drams of some kind of jungle rum. We drink to Wabigo. It's strong, but Zartet tries to keep his composure. He doesn't and spits more than he swallows as he chokes on the fumes of the rum. Wabigo shows his white smile and laughs at us. Wabigo tells us about a dream of a winking star, and that it foretold our arrival. Zartet bids him well met in the name of the laughing star, and Wabigo seems transfixed. Rask introduces the party. Zartet introduces the party to Wabigo, and they commiserate about what has been lost. Once he had 300 crocodile riders, each equal to 5 Westmorians, but now is down to 75 mostly malnourished troops that are not really fit for battle. Also, at night there are demons that have been swooping down to steal their women. He shows us a scar he received while saving his concubines, but there's no evidence that he or anyone in Stilt City has been twisted by the blight. He asks what we need help with. Zartet produces the silver seed from the laughing star, and Wabigo prostrates in reverence. He says that the seed is the tear that fell from the winking star in his dream, and that this is a sign of the greatest favor and of sacrifice. He wants to know what we will do with it. Zartet explains to Wabigo the situation with the Darameus and the various evil forces being consolidated there. Wabigo hears this and rushes out to the tallest platform and calls out for warriors to come forth. Some cowards skirt to the shadows, but some men step forth. Giant the Rider, a young man, Big Rock the Croc and his men. Total of 20 Croc Riders. They also offer us an envoy of canoes to sail down the coast with. Wabigo calls for a farewell feast and regards the stripe on Fisk's back as an omen, insisting that the bear drink with him. Fisk is amenable, and the two of them proceed to get toe up while the feast goes on. Wabigo passes out under a table, and later at night, Fisk is heard retching in the forest. We wake the next morning slightly hungover.
What an adventure. All right. So after a night of feasting and drinking that swiftly passes into legend, the four of you come together and try to reconcile all the things that happened last night in the hazy hours of the early morning. All around the camp, you can hear people making ready for a great journey. You're not exactly sure what you can remember last night, but you think that at some point, Wabigo gambled with Fisk and lost his boat. Playing dice with the bear somehow.
He lost it to the bear.
Lost it to the bear. They were both extremely drunk right there. Logic, at some point, I believe that you disappeared somewhere in the vicinity of Wabigo's large concubines, and nobody's quite sure what happened afterward. And then you can only remember it dimly, but at some point, you have a memory that you went off to relieve yourself, and you felt like a burning sensation, and started to fear that you had been blighted. But then the next thing you know, your urine started flying out as a stream of actual fire, and that many men around witnessed you literally pissing fire, and the story has spread among the people, the camp. The next morning, you check yourself out, and you appear to be totally fine. But you can't.
What about my pubic hair?
It's not singed in the slightest. It's curly and splendid as ever. Yeah, a very healthy, gleaming forest. So, in any case, it seems like you're not sure if there was something in this jungle rum or what have you, but all of you have had a hell of a time there. And then, Zartet, you feel extremely at peace here. This is a good place. These people, rowdy as they are and bloodthirsty as they are against the Westmorians, are very close to the earth. Their ways are the old ways, and they have never succumbed to the temptation to take more from the earth than she was willing to give. So you feel very happy and at peace here. As the morning goes on, Wabigo is nowhere to be seen, and all of you are led by his kind of green-faced aide to a splendid barge carved in the shape of a crocodile. With it is a team of 10 rowers who are some of the most built men that you have ever seen. They're chiseled. It's ridiculous right there. And Wabigo's aide brings over Rask to translate. And Rask explains that Fisk, your bear, won the barge in a game and some kind of dice game there, and that Wabigo will not be seen this morning because he can't believe that he gambled away his boat
To a bear.
to a bear there. So Rask tells you that he will lead the crocodile riders along with Young Jian and Big Croc, and that all of you will begin the long journey to the east as soon as you are ready. Is there anything else that you feel you need to accomplish here in Stilt City?
Besides topping off on water and, all the essentials,
Mhm.
I don't think that's...
Yeah, clean water from the river here may be essential to your journey, so it's very wise to lay in a supply. You all take time to fill your canteens and the various vessels on Wabigo's crocodile barge. And
Do they recognize my ring?
your ring, the silver
Your
ring that you got
silver
so
ring.
long ago. Actually, everybody is so hungover at this point. Yeah, you're lucky they can recognize you. Right? There's literally not one person in the entire village that isn't seeing double, triple, or some multiple thereof.
I have written down that I need to get my armor adjusted. Can they do that?
Your armor adjust. So this is the armor that you took from Uriagan, I believe. There. This is Uranigan. Uranigan. So these guys tend to
Unarigan.
Unarigan. Thank you. The Cyrodiilians tend not to wear armor. They consider it to be cowardly, and they think that they are hard enough to turn aside any blow, which is not the case. Absolutely.
All right.
But
Just checking.
Very Hawaiian.
yeah, Yeah, they're it's an honor society right there. You guys are lucky none of you wound up drunkenly dueling somebody last night because all their duels are to the death. Okay,
Is Rask coming with us?
he's coming with you.
Okay, so I ask Rask to give a gift to Wabigo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna cast Goodberry and make some Goodberries
Mhm.
and give him some Goodberries and just some gold as thanks.
Okay. So the especially since you guys are taking his boat, that's very great. It's very gracious of you there, but more grateful than the gold, which to them has sort of like a limited appeal right there.
Mm.
But the gift of the obviously enchanted berries that you say can turn aside blight is a precious gift, and Rask and everybody else present are astounded. These days, true power of the gods is something that not many people get to experience in their lifetimes. So, with a sense of awe, his aide runs away with the good berries to find wherever Wabigo is hiding in shame. So, yeah,
Be a hangover cure.
it's very kind of you to soothe the balm of gambling everything. When you arrive at the crocodile barge, you find that Fisk the bear is already soundly sleeping at the stern, and that there is a sort of woven chain of flowers that has been thrown around his neck, and he is just out cold. This is the deepest you have ever seen this bear sleep. It's almost as if he's hibernating after his night of drinking right there. So you don't anticipate
On
that
his boat.
It is now his boat. So he is out soundly, but the rest of you are ready to set sail. And as you start to set off, you realize that of the 20 crocodile riders that Wabigo promised you, about 12 of them have actually made it today, and a few of them have taken off, it seems like. So you have 12 crocodile riders, but with you are Wabigo's greatest warriors, Rask, Jean the Younger, and Big Croc, who is indeed riding on the largest crocodile that you have ever seen. It's so old that its scales have turned from black to almost gray.
Nice.
Yeah, looking around at the crocodiles that everybody is riding, you can see that some of them are as long as almost 20 feet. They're powerful swimmers, and the warriors tend to ride on their backs, carrying with them several javelins and one long lance, which is just a spear
Nice.
that's capped with a wicked
Nice.
barb at the end there. So it's still relatively early in the morning, and after being given parting gifts of food wrapped in leaves and just spiced, and some bananas and everything, you are set off on your way, and the party begins to row towards the rising sun in the east. As you're rowing along, as you get further away from where the Metris empties into the Silt City Bay, you start to see the red tinge come over the water once again, and you see more and more dead fish washed up along the beach. So along with the crocodiles are 3 or 4 outriders in canoes that carry all of their supplies and food and weaponry and so forth. And on board are like a few, you think that they're either wives or concubines or what have you, that are expected to serve as logistics right there. So 3 large outrigger canoes there and 12 warriors. The warriors ride on top of their battle crocodiles, which swim through the forest, or they swim through the sea, as sturdy and steadfast as any boat that you've ever seen there. So for most of the day, you venture eastward, and the further east you get from Stilt City, the more problematic everything looks. Like in the distance, you can see storm clouds forming, and all of you remember the danger of the red rain that would fall from time to time. And in the distance, great plumes of smoke are rising from the direction of Vassanane. I'm sorry, not Vassanane. Vorabrink are right there to the north there. So whatever was happening in the city must have gotten significantly worse. And the warriors seem at edge right there. For the longest time, they've been avoiding this area, skirting along the coast, staying further away from here. And you can feel a general sense of dis-ease among them, and they feel that there are bad omens this way. But on top of that, none of them wants to be the first one to say it, so each of them is trying to put on a brave face and pretend that they are not afraid. But the only person that seems to be truly unafraid is Fist the Bear, who is still soundly snoring at the front of the raft. And the rowers, who seem to have nothing in mind.
When he gets up.
Yeah, he's going to be hungry as bear right there. So, as you are rowing along, Angie, you notice to the north a group of figures that seem to be shadowing along your progress. The party is rowing against the current here, and you're not making much better time than whoever is on foot there. They're too far in the distance for you to see what's happening there. But definitely, every time that you come close to the shore, you notice up on the cliffs forms sort of following along. And you're not sure what to make of it there.
I don't recognize what they are.
Not from this distance. You can tell that they walk on two legs, but that's about it. They seem to keep far away and move sort of along the scrub and along the lines. They're probably about 500 or 600 meters distant from you, so too far to recognize them. But they seem large and lumbering when you are watching.
Has anyone else noticed that?
Yes, several of the warriors have been keeping a watch on the cliffs right there. Rask has been on your boat with you guys, and his crocodile has been kind of swimming alongside you guys. He seems to prefer not getting salt water all over his legs. And so he explains to you that sometimes when they go this way, soldiers from Vassanane will go up there, and if too many of them come over, they'll think it's a raid, and they'll come with crossbowmen and fire at them. But he says that these are not soldiers up there, and he thinks that everybody in Vorabrink is long dead. So he doesn't know who they are, but he said all he really says is the big, whatever that means. I mean, obviously you can see that they're big, but I'm not sure exactly what that's all about.
Does Wabigo have or maybe Cyrodiilans don't use this technology? Is there a looking glass or a telescope or anything?
Any kind of optics are going to be beyond them. They see the world in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Figures.
With their eyes.
They're all on foot. There are no mounts or anything or accompanying creatures that are
whatever is shadowing you. They're on foot, and you try to get a good count of them, and you're not really sure because you only see 4 or 5 of them at a time. But it may be that there are many of them, and they're sort of cycling back and forth, or it may be that there are only 4 or 5 of them. Because really, they take pains to stay at the distance, but it's obvious that they are following you and interested in what you're doing.
You know who that is. Or I have a strong feeling I know who that is.
Tell us, Zartet.
Yeah, who is it?
You don't think it's the Legion?
That's what I was wondering, but I don't know. Those guys are more methodical, you know what I mean?
True.
They move in formation.
Could be the snake tattoo guys too. Who knows? I don't know what. I mean,
Or something we haven't even seen yet.
I don't like them
Could you-
either way.
could be rat people too.
It could be all of the women I apparently slept with last night.
Did we bring any jungle rum with us?
They don't go anywhere without a steady supply of jungle rum. Yeah, literally, these guys, they like their rum, and they say that it makes them brave, and you see no evidence to the contrary right there. These are immensely.
I mean, I think we should just keep moving forward as best we can.
So, as you were rowing and moving along, you see the first signs of life from Fisk the bear, who wakes up, blinks, looks around, and goes right back to sleep. Then, so the land is sort of rising. The coast becomes cliffs that are high and jagged, and the warriors row further out to sea and guide their crocodiles further out as they're going. At one point, you see what looks like a trio of sharks headed towards the crocodiles, but immediately when one of them closes towards them, one of the warriors just lances the shark right through the head, and the other two sharks turn on it immediately, and they regard this as almost nothing. They have no fear of sharks. And so
Nice.
So while that's going on, the land is rising to the east, and it seems that the sea is becoming more tumultuous and stirred up there. And you can see that the crocodiles don't like it much. Apparently, they don't like to swim through the sea when, the water goes right up their noses as they're sort of cresting over the waves. And you can see that the riders are having to guide them forward. And ahead in the distance, you can see dark clouds looming overhead. And Rask says that this is not good. Their canoes are not fantastic in a storm. And the barge that you guys are in is flat-bottomed, and it's more for ceremonial purposes than seaworthiness there.
Well, we could, if we get funneled towards the beach.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's
Which
no
I
beach
think that we
here. You
probably
guys
will
are
be.
you guys are looking at a straight cliff face for the most part. The land has been
We're,
kind of steadily rising.
We're heading northeast towards Vorabrink and the Dare.
Right now, you are headed east, but the land curves a little bit towards the south there, and then so you're headed more towards the Darameus than you are towards Vorabrink, as I recall.
Got it.
So it looks like you may have a storm on your hands fairly soon, and the crocodile riders and Rask are looking around, and they're like, we should find a place to land soon, or we should
Since
turn
they're
back.
more familiar with the water, should we ask them in their estimation how far away that storm is, and then how much? What's the best place on land to sort of pull
Yeah,
up?
absolutely. So Rask seems to be he seems edified that you ask for his advice right there, and says if you do him a great honor by asking what he wants to do. And you can see that right away he takes a shine to you, Kuntz, for respecting him. So he tells you that you are about half an hour of hard rowing away from a cove where there are several caves there, and it's a dangerous place to land because there are serpents. But he says sometimes warriors will go there when they're really, really drunk and itching for a fight. They'll just row out there and battle the serpents.
Are these big serpents like the anaconda, or maybe smaller ones?
Bigger, he says.
Bigger, okay.
Yeah, much, much bigger. So he tells you that you can go to Double Fang Cove if you row hard, and he thinks that you can get there before the storm hits. But then he points up to the people there. He's like, we do not recognize these forms, and they're shadowing us. So whatever's happening there, whether serpent or the shadows, we'd best be ready for a fight.
We can turn our ship into a fortification if we need be, like the Romans.
Oh, this is
I say
maybe
we
true.
head towards that cove ASAP. Sounds like the safest spot for now.
Okay.
Probably for the
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
best.
Has and I got a question too that maybe I don't know. Like, is it possible to gauge the level of the sea versus where it normally is, like by looking at the cliffs? Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like as an indicator of how bad the storm is up ahead.
So in general, you don't have. This is not not a lot of you come to
Yeah.
the South Sea very frequently, but just by looking at the reactions of the warriors, and these are hardened warriors, and they're better than half drunk right now. But even they are still like, whoa, what's happening here? They don't like what's happening one bit, and their crocodiles don't like it either. Already, you have seen one guy get thrown by his crocodile, which then turned around and started trying to swim back, but he was able to swim, catch the crocodile, and grab it by the reins and bring it back around. And so your rowers like really bend to it right there, and one of them stops rowing and begins banging on a drum, just a steady tempo, and all the other rowers row faster as a consequence there. And before the half hour is up, the first real heavy drops of rain are beginning to fall, and it's with some relief that you see that this just seems like it's normal rain. It's not the crimson rain that you saw falling like further north in Pies and in blighted areas there. But ripples of thunder are running through the clouds, and like in general, the sea has turned sort of an unhealthy greenish color, and you're glad to be off of it. So you crash the boat into the beach, and the serpent or the crocodile riders sort of scamper onto the beach and are very happy to be out of there. Like they can barely restrain their crocodiles from running up there. And when the boat lands, Fisk the bear seems to rise up and look around and start sniffing the air. And he definitely smells something that he's not too fond of. Maybe it's the crocodiles. He didn't seem to be super pro croc in the past, but
what's the layout of the beaching?
So the beach that you've
whatever?
landed in is a bit of a cove right here. You're a little bit sheltered from the waves that you see further out. There are some reefs and shoals like further out that are mostly overrun by the rising seas right there. The beach itself is kind of a crescent, and at the sort of middle of the crescent, along the cliffs, there is a path that leads up through the cliffs. So this is like a big sandy stretch, and you can see caverns along the outer edge of the crescent there, probably 2 to your left and 3 caverns to your right. And everywhere on the beach, you can see the signs of just sort of slithering motions where obviously snakes larger than your crocodiles have passed by and slipped into the sea at points. And here and there you can see scales and bits of cast-off skin. And at one point, what looks like the bones of a whale that has been picked absolutely clean, just half buried in the sand.
Okay, and beyond the caverns is that we can see perhaps the tops of cliffs, and we can't see beyond that.
You can see the path leading up, and you think that the path leads probably about a quarter mile up, rising up to the hills. You don't see any signs of the people that were following you, but you lost them. You really lost sight of them when the storm started to get back here. When you land the boat, Wabigo's rowers begin.
Nice.
They are trying to like urge the bear to get out of the boat, and when as soon as Fisk climbs out of the boat and thumps heavily onto the sand, they turn around and shove off and begin rowing back. And Rask shouts after them, but apparently they had orders from Wabigo to take his boat back there.
Oh wow!
Oh my god, Wabigo, what the fuck?
Legit. Oh, I was. We were gonna break that apart and turn it into a fort. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Well, they have other ideas,
Between Fisk
and also
and
you
Wabigo.
can see that the rowers are none too enthused about the idea of fighting. Rowing is what they do, not fighting. So they're not their cocks haven't been cut off, but they're kind of similar to eunuchs in that way. They serve.
We have So we have still approximately 12 croc riders with us, and the barge folks are the ones that took off.
The croc riders are still with you, and indeed the outrider canoes are also with you, and you have on those canoes probably another 6 or 7. I'd say that there were 7. Like one guy, you're not sure exactly what he does, but he wears a lot of necklaces, and 6 women that are there.
Pimp.
Maybe. Well, his necklaces are mostly, it looks like bird bones and fish bones, sort of cleverly woven together into necklaces.
I like it.
And 6 women who look fairly sturdy to you. You notice that the women all carry axes, sort of bound to their waists with leather thongs. And in any case, so the crocodile riders are forming up, and Rask on his crocodile tells you that he thinks that you can make it up to the cliff without fighting the serpents, because the storm will. He says they won't come out in the storm. So he says, if you want honor, if you want to fight serpents, we go now. He says, but if you don't want to fight them, just wait until it starts really raining, and he hopes that they won't come out.
Well, it's a super honor-based society. Maybe we should test our mettle against one of them. I don't know.
What if there's more?
Yeah, what if there's more? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we still have boats. Yeah. Well, I guess we don't have the barge. This kind of is D-Day, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And the background that
No
Zertet
place
has
forward.
is like very close. I just see Fisk in the background. He's gigantic. But yeah, this is very close to what's happening here. Although I will say that your cliffs probably rise a little bit higher than that in
Oh,
general.
really?
Mhm.
I was thinking they were low. I was imagining
They're
much
low
higher.
at some parts, but the path that you're rising up to is probably you're probably going to go 400 or 500 feet up as you're climbing up this winding path.
How heavy are these canoes, these outrigger canoes? I mean, would it be possible for us to take them up onto the cliff?
They're hollowed
Via
out
the
logs.
path?
Yeah, they. You don't think that's really their game plan right there. So they're hollowed out logs. So you could assign men. It's a shame that all the rowers took off with Wabigo's barge. So you get assigned men to carry them up. But certainly, the women who have rowed them over here are they would have a hard time carrying them by themselves because they are hollowed out trunks. Although right now, they're calling crocodile riders over to help them pull them up onto the beach and get them above the tide line because the storm is really starting to come in hard. The wind is starting to whip around. You're having to raise your voices to shouts to be heard. You think it's going to be a serious storm.
How many shoulder to shoulder can go up the path at once? Is it a 1-by-1 thing, or is it a fairly wide path?
It's a fairly wide path that's winding up there. Probably about 6 men could 6 men, or It's basically like two of the crocodiles could go side by side up this path, and it just sort of, it's not like a switching back and forth type path. It's just sort of like a gradual weave back and forth, almost a straight shot directly up. And it's sandy most of the way, but it becomes rocky about halfway up. Yeah, it's just at some point a huge volume of water must have cascaded down here, and it's since been filled with sand.
And I'm sorry to keep asking these questions, guys, but looking at the path, what is the nearest cavern, obvious cavern?
Mhm.
Like, how close do the caverns come to this path?
So I would say
Basically,
that the
something
whole
jumped out at
beach
how
is
much
about
time would we have?
the whole beach is about let's say about a quarter of a mile from one way to another there. At the most distant caves, so there are 3 caves to the southern part of the crescent, and then there are 2 caves to the north. Closest to the path is one of the northern caves, where it's only about 200 or 300 feet from
That's
the
pretty good.
caverns to there. So,
Well, that's good. I think.
well, it really depends. The caves are quite large, though. The openings that you see there are probably about 20 or 30 feet tall. And it's dark inside. There's no way to tell. But something quite large could be in each of these caves. Or maybe many things could be in there.
How is the storm
I
doing?
do.
Has it like fully arrived?
We're having to yell at each other.
You're having to yell at each other, and some cold drops of rain are falling and hitting you. But this is only a sprinkling of what it's going to be soon.
Well, oh shit. I mean, what if we get up to the top and there's nothing up there? It's just blasted wasteland like Wyoming.
So,
Or I guess Central Wyoming.
while you guys are deliberating, it's been a
Well,
while while you've been figuring out what to do, and they've been hauling the
How
canoes
many
up and
boats do we
preparing.
still have? Oh, okay.
So there are 3 canoes remaining, but while this is going on, you start to see forms at the edge, sort of at the top of the path there.
Shit.
And you begin counting them as they arrive, and they start forming up in a line. And you can see
Oh
that
no.
there are, you begin to recognize these outlines, and it is indeed Legionnaires once again. They must have marched overland seeking you, and you are seeing that it is a full cohort of 23 Legionnaires has formed up along there. You can see the outlines of their weapons, and
What is the most defensible spot to us right now if they're coming down the path?
they are
Is there any way
indeed
we
in
could
motion.
apart these
And
canoes and create a fortification?
as you guys are considering this, they are proceeding down the path, and it does appear that they intend to fight.
Okay. Let's break apart these fucking. Do we have time to break apart the canoes to create fortifications on the path,
I
or
don't believe
in
that
a
you have
defensible
time.
spot?
I do not believe that you have time to fortify yourselves. So from the top of these cliffs down to where you are, I would anticipate at the rate that the Legionnaires are marching, you have maybe 5 minutes to prepare yourselves for their attack.
Oh
we got
fuck!
fucking crocodile riders with us, man. So like, how
Could
many-
we dig a
don't-
trench?
Not in 5 minutes.
We don't know how we don't know how many there are.
Crocodiles can dig them.
So far, you've counted 23 of them, but there might be more on top of the hill.
Wow.
But a full cohort of
Well, we
Legionnaires
have-
is 23.
We have 12 soldiers and us as well.
And crocodiles.
And
And a bear.
women with axes.
And the bear is apparently 1 cliff large now.
These guys are as
That bear's
tough
pretty
as,
big.
That bear
Five
gets
We
Yes,
could,
long,
but we have to. I'm not worried about fighting them. Like, we're gonna fight them. I mean, it's inevitable. I'm worried about giving us the best advantage possible. And if we could get crocodiles to like burrow a trench, even like that would be enough,
bottom.
so that we could stand on the other
Like-
side
So
at the bottom or halfway up or something. But just to give us a standoff point, so that they're the ones coming at us, and we're not fighting uphill against the fucking Legion. If that makes sense.
Well, so the grade that you're at right now you guys are all on the beach. You have moved, so you have actually like a pretty decent expanse of flat land here. Unless you plan to charge them, you do not have to fight them uphill. But right now, the Legionnaires are moving down the path, and you can see the crocodiles really don't know what to make of them right there. Most of the fighting that they do is not against heavily armored men, and these are Legionnaires in the full Legion plate right there. They wear helms.
Do they have a spellcaster looking shaman guy with them?
You don't see anybody like that. All you really, and in fact, they look very similar. Like the Legion recruits a very specific type of very broad men. Usually, they're between like 6'2" and 6'4", because it takes a lot of musculature to move in plate armor and march all day long the way that they do.
I'm still carrying my Legionnaire helmet. Can I give it to one of our 12 friends?
You could pass them one of the Legionnaire helmets.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Wait, you're still carrying your helmet? Good lord.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Oh,
all
it's a
were.
bindle, yeah.
You guys-
I thought I dropped mine, actually.
yeah.
Sorry, Ted.
We'll,
God damn it.
We're about to pick up some more, so. Well, I think
Okay.
if at the bottom of the hill, if we create, I don't know, maybe is it possible for us to drag the canoes up there and create just a choke point?
My primary
all I'm
concern
looking
is
for.
just none of the boats go, what's it called? Like get flooded away while we're fighting.
Yeah, well, they've been
Then
pulled
we'll
up.
be
They've been
stuck
pulled
here.
up already.
So
sort
they're
of-
like in a good
yeah,
spot
under the
away
good
from the
spot.
storm.
But
I say we just prepare to fight these guys. It looks like we're
well,
gonna have to.
the crocodile
do that.
riders seem like they're already ahead of you because they're forming a line,
Okay.
and they're shouting and jeering at the Legionnaires. The Legionnaires do not respond. They are
Oh,
very
wow.
silent on their approach, and they are moving in now. So the closest
All
Legionnaires.
right. Well, let's move up to the bottom of the ramp because that's the choke point. We can We can pull back, fight them on the flats later, but let's just
I still
form
have
up on the bottom of the ramp.
Angie's old bow and 10 arrows. I'm gonna give that to one of the guys as well, so that
You're just passing that
maybe
off.
he can-
Okay.
maybe
yeah.
he can likely get a
Is
soldier.
that gonna pray?
So you hand it off to a crocodile rider, and he just kind of waves you away, and just points at his spear and his javelins.
Okay, but
Like,
then I'll give
yeah.
my arrows, 5 arrows to Angie, 5 to Logic.
Okay. So
Well, I have a crossbow, so
while you guys are deliberating and making preparation, the Legionnaires have arrived.
I'm saying a prayer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Zartet prays.
Sweetie, that's fine.
There's Big Glitch. Wait, what did I foretell at the
Cast
beginning
prayer.
of this stream?
yeah.
It's all come to pass right here.
This is mine.
Oh.
These are mine.
The cat wants the coffee so
No.
bad.
So what's a coffee?
Oh, what a terrible calamity that could be.
She's upset.
All right. Well,
Is she gonna be okay?
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah, like the pain of not getting coffee.
after a cup of coffee.
It's more than she can bear. Okay. So with heavy footsteps, the Legionnaires have descended upon you, and unfortunately, your efforts to rally people and come up with a battle plan, just really everything that you shout at these guys, they have a very clear way that they like to fight, and they don't really understand what you're saying a lot of the way. They fight in a very like sort of formalized, honor-bound way. The Legionnaires do not.
That's
You know, the Legionnaires are more what we would call killing machines. So before
It's all bunched up
before
right
you
now?
can
Like,
get
are they
there-
coming at us in a column.
they're moving at you in a formation. It's not a phalanx because they don't have the swords and the long spears. Mostly, they seem to be armed with axes and warhammers, and a few of them have big, long, great swords.
All right,
but-
I'm gonna cast web on them, all 8,000 cubic feet of gooey goodness.
Oh, that's really okay. So you are definitely like close enough to fire off a web. Let's see. So So a few of the Legionnaires manage to get out of the way before your web takes hold, but the web is devastatingly effective. Just magical strands of sticky goo fly out and ensnare the entirety of the Legion, and they're reduced to trying to hack their way out. But about 4 of them are able to slip past, and they are immediately joined in battle by the crocodile riders. So,
how does that first interaction go?
It's a very strange and mismatched fight because the lances of the Cyrodiilians are almost completely useless against the heavy plate of the Legionnaire. One of them lands like a telling blow that almost knocks the Legionnaire off of his feet, but they don't have metal. The tips are essentially just hard wood that's been hardened in a fire, which is great if you're fighting against other Cyrodiilians or Westmorians, but they just splinter and shatter against the breastplates of the Legionnaires. But at the same time, the crocodiles are very fast on their feet. When they're aroused and ready for battle, they're much faster than you would think. And you see one Legionnaire just sort of shrug off a lance blow and rush forward with his axe, only to just be tail lashed rudely to the ground, and it hits him with a tremendous clang. And you see that the Legionnaire hits the ground and does not rise again after just a stunning blow from the tail of the crocodile. However, another crocodile rider does not fare quite as well. The Legionnaire that rushes at him manages to just rush up and strike the crocodile just fully in the dome with a big double-headed battle axe.
Oh, no.
Just doing tremendous damage to it. And immediately you can see that the Cyrodiilians are aghast at this. You're not 100% sure, but you think when they fight with each other, they don't ever attack people's crocodiles. So
Sure.
they're not prepared to fight this way. So while that's going on, Angie, Zartet, and Logic, you all have the chance to act. What's happening right now is that probably about, let's say that 19 of the Legionnaires are currently caught in Kuntz's amazing web. And meanwhile, like 4 or 5 of them have made their way out. One of them is already a casualty. You do not think that the tail lash one will be getting up anytime soon. But one of the crocodiles is already down. And the other lancers are having very limited success trying to injure them.
Okay,
Is it
I'm going
pouring
to.
rain?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is it pouring rain right now?
The rain is really starting to kick up right now.
Okay, go ahead, Logic. I'm sorry.
Well, this is going to be, I don't know, maybe perhaps stupid, but I'm going to take that bottle of super nice brandy, high alcohol content, and I'm going to throw it at the Legionnaires that made it through the web. Because I think I'm coming next.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the webs are inherently very flammable. There's a lot of water flying around. So the fine bottle of brandy that once had a silver key tied to it with a ribbon, a symbol of love to Yenerigan. Ooh. Just, you actually managed to bean one of the Legionnaires. It skips right off of his head and then sprays powerful brandy all over the lot of them right there. So all of them are just completely covered. And the Legionnaire that you hit with the bottle, it struck him fully in the face. He has been blinded by shark.
Holy fuck!
Yeah,
Nice.
it was a hell of a throw and a good start to the battle. Angie, you
Boom,
have the next chance.
QB.
To act. Yeah,
Can I see if Fisk can go like attack the one that got hit?
yeah. Fisk is waiting for you. You're a little bit worried about his ability to fight inside of the magical web. But you could. He will do what you tell him to.
I think I want to take on the first person that's nearest to me.
Okay, well, he's pretty
With a
close.
long
He's pretty close to the 4 Legionnaires that have broken free that are attacking the Crocodile Riders. Both of you are close to there. So if you want, you could send him at the Legionnaires, and you can take an action yourself as well.
Yeah, I want to try to go with Fisk as he like tries to attack whatever nearest Legionnaire.
Are you rushing
But I
him with
have my
your?
long-
Are you rushing him with a sword?
Yeah.
Or wait until they're on fire.
Well, the pack of 4 that are engaging the Crocodile Riders right now are aside from the.
Yeah, I want to go for
the-
those
Okay.
ones.
Yeah. So the ones that are broken free. All right. So you and Fisk charge together into the fray, and you're close to a Legionnaire who has his back to you. He's busy facing off against a guy who is stabbing at him with a javelin. Buoyed by your commands, Fisk barrels forward and just slams the Legionnaire to the ground with one powerful swipe of his paw. You come up directly behind him with your sword, and as the Legionnaire is trying to get up to his feet, you can just jam these. Who was it? Was Bixby's blade that you were wielding right there? So Bixby's blade takes him right in the back of the neck, and he never rises again afterward. And this is helpful to the Crocodile Riders who were really struggling with these guys. They were finding that all their blows were to no avail, so they gain morale by just seeing the sacred bear just paw slam this guy to the ground, and you execute him with a single one. So the Crocodile Riders, who were on the verge of breaking against these superior fighters, begin to rally. And then Zartet, you have the chance to act. Your prayer has apparently taken powerful hold because you can see 2 almost miraculous blows land against the seasoned Legionnaires.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna. So, question about how you want to do Flame Blade here.
Mhm.
So, it says it can't work underwater. That's why I was asking if it was raining.
No,
with that,
like,
it's not gonna affect it because it's magical fire or something.
No. The blades of the gods are not the kind of thing that a simple downpour can work out. In the description where it says underwater, it means actually like if you were scuba diving down to the bottom of the ocean.
Just making sure.
But rain is not going to put out a flame blade. And in fact, you were close enough that if you were to cast flame blade, you could almost certainly strike the doused Legionnaires and the webs that they're entangled in here.
Yeah, I cast Flame Blade and I hold my hand up with the Flame Blade so everyone could see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh out loud.
So there are cries of shock from the Crocodile Riders there. Again, they're not used to seeing holy magic so openly displayed. It's something that has not been seen on the Ark for quite some time. And flames leap from your hand in a bluish plume. And with a single swing, the blinded Legionnaire, who's trying to claw his way out of the web, is immolated immediately, and spurred on by the brandy dousing everything, the very flammable web spell is consumed like so much cotton thrown into the flame, and immediately the flames race across the entire pack of Legionnaires, severely singeing them. The smell is like nothing else there. Burnt hair and burning flesh and boiling brandy and webs burning up there. So flames race across the entirety of the pack, doing severe damage to the entangled Legionnaires.
Nice.
So, Angie, as you look up, you can see movement coming from the cave that is closest to the entrance here. The gleam of a large black eye.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let everybody know that that's coming.
Okay.
Fuck.
So, Kuntz, you have the next chance to act right here. You can hear
Sure.
chanting coming from the cave, and you recognize someone is casting a spell.
Oh, shit.
Great. It's probably that big
That
little
mother-
idiot. Who's got the crossbow again?
Logic has
The
a
crossbow.
Do you got lots of bolts for it?
I got 30, I think. No, I have 30, yes.
I'm casting haste on
It's good.
logic,
Okay.
machine gun logic.
So,
All right, let's do this.
Yep. Logic, you feel as if every second that passes by is happening twice. The movements of the people around you are so slow as if they're frozen in sap. And you can see this flames flickering in slow motion, spreading across the Legionnaire, and the smoke rising from their armor as they're stumbling free of the web, readying their weapons, and looking out with singed and blinded eyes in some cases that will never see again, and just loping towards anything that sounds like something that they can kill. So you see all this happening in real time, and in this moment of expanded perception, you can see the slits of serpentine eyes within the cave regarding you, and the shadow of something quite enormous beginning to rear up.
I am firing at it.
Okay, you're going to fire at the serpent in the cave. I would say that you're about almost 100 yards away from this cave right there. So you're going to be at the very furthest range of your crossbow.
Okay.
Okay. It's too far. So you're not familiar with this weapon. This is, I believe, the first time that you fired it in combat. The bolt sinks kind of uselessly into the sand in front of the cave. But you've definitely, as you hear hiss, that at first seems like it's just the rain, but then obviously it's the monstrous serpent within, rises up.
I just start cranking for another one.
And the eyes are on you. Okay, so you begin loading. Normally this would take you a couple of rounds, but you're much faster at the moment there, at the cost of a year of life. Okay, Zartet, you are the next to be able to act there.
What's the status of like all the Legionnaires and stuff?
So the burnt
Again,
Legionnaires,
so, like, most of them are burned.
they're all burned, but not incapacitatingly so. So Legionnaires are worshippers of Earthworth, a demon that lives beneath the volcano in the city that's named for him right there. All of them have been tested with fire. And in fact, many of them were burnt long before you got there. So probably about 2 or 3 of these Legionnaires have been incapacitated. The one that was struck in the face with a brandy bottle is obviously blind. He's just loping forward crazily in the sand, doesn't know what's going on. And from the looks of them, a couple more of them have been blinded as well. But the rest of them are ready for battle. And across over where Angie and Fisk are, you can see that the 3 remaining Legionnaires have rallied, and at least 2 of the crocodiles have been slain. One of the crocodile riders is facing off against the Legionnaire in single combat, just trying to stab through his helmet with a javelin. It does not end well. A warhammer takes him in the side of the face and caves in his skull, and that is all for the brave crocodile rider. You hear a cry of anguish that you recognize as Big Croc, and then you see Big Croc barreling towards those 4 Legionnaires, just in a complete state of fury.
Well, I just want to swing my fucking flame blade at whatever's close to me. If it's, finishing off a Legionnaire.
The closest is
fine.
actually like the blinded Legionnaire. That's just sort of staggering towards all of you. So you go in for an attack. All right. So the holy flame blade jets against his armor, but he's already blinded. He scarcely seems to feel the fire of your thing, and you can see that he's been driven mad with pain already. And all that he cares about is taking somebody with you, and now that person is you. So he has dropped his weapon. He rushes forward, just sort of smoldering and in flames, and tackles you to the ground.
Oh, shit.
You feel the heavy weight of a crazed legionnaire on top of you, and his gauntleted hands are scratching at you, trying to close around your throat. So the others of you can see that Zartet has been bowled over by a man easily twice his size, in full heavy armor, and that he is in terrible danger here. Zartet, what's your strength?
My strength is 11.
Okay. You're making a check right now to see if you can fight him off and keep him from strangling you. As of right now, you are trying to control his wrists and keep him off of you. And the flame blade spell fizzles out in the midst of just so that you don't burn yourself apart. So you manage to grab a hold of his wrists and hold him back, but it's clear to you that he is much stronger than you are, and that you are in terrible danger. So you are caught in this grapple right here. So
Can I send Fisk?
Um,
Can Fisk go?
Angie, at this point in Fisk is very new to fighting with people here. You could send him to try and help Zartet, but there's every chance that he will injure Zartet along with the Legionnaire here. He seems to really enjoy fighting, but I don't know if I would necessarily send the bear. You can try it, but there's a good chance that they'll both get chopped. Okay, in your moment of indecision, play passes
Sorry.
on to Logic. Logic, you can see everything that's going on here, and you got a bit of initiative built up since your amazing throw that just set the world on fire.
Sweet. The snake creature, is there still... I mean, do I recognize the sounds coming from the cavern as spell casting?
Yes, yeah, there is something in
Okay.
the cavern that is casting a spell for certain, and it seems long and complicated, and it is indeed a voice that you
Shit.
recognize.
Oh, fuck. Well, I'm super hasted, so my...
Yeah, you're hasted right now. You can probably take a couple of different actions here.
Yeah,
Can
you
I
also move
localize
at
the
double
sound of...
speed as well.
Say that again. I'm
That's
sorry.
a good point. Can I localize the sound within the cavern?
No, it's dark in there, and it's there are storm clouds overhead, and thunder and
that's
lightning.
true.
Yeah, you cannot see into the cave.
Is it possible for me to move forward on the cavern?
You could advance on the cavern. You can see. You're definitely aware that there is a Legionnaire on top of Zartet right now, trying to choke
Yeah,
the life out of him.
totally. Yeah.
Is this cavern 70 yards or less away?
It's
Like,
about
is it
100
really
yards
far
away from where Logic is
Okay.
standing right now.
Could I? Okay, well, yeah. So that was my priority initially.
Yeah, so you
Help
have
Zartet.
you
But
That's what I'm
have right
saying.
now.
Can I run up on the motherfucker and try and flip him off? My strength is only 13 though, so I mean it's better than normal. But
He's bigger. He's big and he's wearing armor. You don't know.
what if
about
he's
your
up him?
chances.
I mean, I could stab him in the fucking neck.
Oh, the other thing is you have a crossbow in your hand and a bolt ready to go. So
But it's only the second time that I've ever used it.
it is indeed the second time that you've ever fired a crossbow. So it's up to you. But you
I'm
did spend
gonna
all that time winding.
Move. I did, but now it's loaded.
You should just shoot it at point blank range, essentially. You can't miss.
Or what if I take my magic dagger and stab the fucking guy in the neck? Like it's prison or something. I mean, I'm so
It's up to you.
fast. There's no way you could. That's what I'm gonna do.
It's up
Fuck
to
that
you.
shit.
You're
That's what I'm gonna do.
extremely good. Okay. So
That's what I'm gonna do.
with inhuman haste, you rush up to the Legionnaire, casting your crossbow aside and drawing the dagger. Where did you get this dagger? Remind us.
This is the guy that fell off the first time I died.
Mhm.
The guy that fell off the cliff. He had it on him, and he was the guy with the original snake tattoo,
Mhm.
double snake.
A tattoo of serpents, as I recall, right there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
So you rush in, and go for So Angie was quite capable of with Bixby's blade just driving it through the chainmail at the neck of this guy between his helmet and so forth. So you go in with the dagger, but as he's rushing around, you cannot get a good thing. You have to pull your blade a little bit because as they're fighting back and forth, the last thing you want to do is to skip off of his heavy armor and kill Zartet. Zartet, right now, the Legionnaire has locked his fingers around your throat and is squeezing down with all of his might, and he, blinded, in terrible pain, he is capable of insane feats of strength right now. He is berserking. So your strength
Can
is
I
11.
try to release his grapple? Yeah, 11.
Okay.
Come on now. I got the prayer going.
So,
works on
yeah,
these
something
things.
is definitely working in your favor here, because you know in your heart that this man is stronger than you are. He's bigger than you are, but something in you refuses to die. And as the heavy metal gauntlets close around the flesh of your throat, you find a sudden burst of strength and hold him off for a little longer. You can't throw him off, but you stop him from crushing your throat and killing you. But who knows how long that burst of strength will last. So the logic, that was your first action. But as you are within the bounds of a magical field of haste, time is nothing to you. You can take another action if you would like.
How far away is the cavern?
So probably about 105 yards from where you are.
How fast can I make it there?
So you can normally move probably in around, you can dash about 40 yards. So you could make it about 80 yards closer. But keep in mind, when you went in to attack the Legionnaire, you cast your crossbow aside. So it's on the stand. Yes. Yeah, you can't use a dagger with a crossbow in your hands.
Maybe,
so you can zip
So what
over.
you're saying is-
leave the cavern for me and help Zartet.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay.
Is
That's
I
what I
can
was-
always.
well,
I'm
that's
thinking
good.
of just sending a fireball up in there to illuminate it.
Thank
And then we'll
you.
just
That's
see
exactly what I was
what
wondering.
happens.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, can I then try to get this fucking guy off his Zartet?
We're like choking each other out.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
you can
can
see
I
that Zartet is
fucking-
holding his own right now, but you don't know for how long. So you can try to add.
Can I grab this guy and like fucking, I don't know, cut his fucking arm off at the shoulder or something?
He's wearing
I mean,
he's wearing plate mail. Like this guy is a straight up juggernaut.
Yeah, but they're plates.
They're plates, but underneath those plates is mail, right? And he is maddened beyond fear by pain and so forth. So you could attempt to grapple and pull him off of Zartet, or you can try to attack him again and this time see if you can find a chink in his armor.
Yeah, if maybe like up his ass or something. I mean, not in his ass, but somewhere where his mail ends, where the something.
You're trying to find a way that you can incapacitate him through his heavy armor. Let's find out. Okay.
And I'm like, I'll grab in there and grab armor up and stab underneath it. I don't fucking care.
So yeah, you just hone in on his armpit, right? And you can see that there's heavy mail right there, and start jabbing into his armpit with your dagger. Just digging it in as hard as you can, and you pierce through the armor, and you're twisting and jabbing, and you hear a terrible crack as the blade of your dagger breaks off in his armpit. But
Oh.
Zartet, so your dagger is shattered. Zartet, you can feel that he's losing strength on top of you because there is a blade that's been plunged into his arm. And he starts rolling to the side there, losing his grip on your neck. Okay.
Well, it's a worthwhile critical fail, I think.
Well, it's also just deckers don't do super well against armor in general. They're not made for that. They're for stabbing, and particularly backstabbing and so forth. So I believe this is also the demon slaying blade. Right there is no more. All right. So
Terrible.
Kuntz, you have a chance to act. Right there, you can see the enormous head of something coming through, but you don't see actually the slitted eyes of a serpent. What you see coming through is the glistening skin and black, soulless eyes of an eel, and it is an enormous eel.
This is in the cavern?
This is in the cavern, and the eel is fully 20 feet tall, and God knows how long it is. You can only see a part of its body. Its skin glistens with ichor, and it's moving forward towards the party right there. It has been roused by the chaos of the battle.
So this doesn't look like it's on anyone's team, so to speak. It might even attack some of the soldiers that are in the web.
The soldiers that are in the web are actually like much closer than the rest of you right there. So there is a chance. However, there is chanting coming from the cave.
Oh, there's still chanting coming from the cave. God damn it. Okay, I'm going to run about 35 yards towards the cave to be in range with Fireball. And I'm not aiming the Fireball at anything in particular. I'm just trying to send it deep in there. It does have 40-foot diameter, so I'm assuming it's going to illuminate.
Not only is it a 40-foot diameter, but because the cave is a constrained space with the bulk of this eel in there, it's going to blast out further. Because you're casting it into a confined space, and when you have an explosion in a confined space, we all know what happens. Okay, so you cast a fireball there. So this is your first time. Have you casted a fireball before, Kuntz?
Yes, he has.
Yeah, I believe you cast a fireball on the. No. The fireball that was cast was actually by the eyeless sorcerer who dumped a fireball on top of his own men after
true.
He'd been webbed.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I've cast one since then.
When did you cast a fireball?
2 or 3 sessions ago.
Okay.
I've definitely cast one.
Well, the last time you cast a fireball felt very different from this time, right? Because you cast the spell, and you see the spark flying from your fingertips, doubling in size with every 10 paces that it goes forth. But as it flies into the cave, it starts to flicker and weaken, and you can feel the force of your spell being drawn into a larger spell that's being cast within.
Yeah.
You see it swirl away into nothingness, and the power of your sorcery is stolen from you. And you can feel it's not just the energy of that's stolen from you. You are driven to your knees, and you feel a sickening nausea in your gut as mana is stolen away from you by a misstep in the art. Yeah, this
shit.
So the spell fizzles out, and the serpent, which you now realize is actually an eel, coming from the cave, pauses and turns its eyes towards you, Kuntz. Okay, and then Angie will have a chance to act next, but we're going to take 5 minutes right here.
Oh my god.
I know.
Thank you
Take
so
some
much.
time to think about it. Everybody had to fist like a fucking resource here. All right, and so we shall return after I update Adobe Creative Cloud.
Wow.
Oh my god, I love glitch.
Hello.
They spinning. This is my favorite.
So cute.
Hey guys, give me like 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah, take your time, man.
Yeah, no. Sorry, is that noisy?
Look at Angie and Puppy. Oh. Oh, dog is the best.
I know, he's a little chicken nugget.
He's like in his face he's a wise old man. But in his body he is a chicken nugget.
That's it.
He's like a hot
Oh,
dog.
I'm very, very disappointed about this dagger.
That was the end of the demon slaying blade. Maybe you can take the shard out of his shoulder and reforge it.
I think I'm gonna definitely try.
Oh yeah, shouts to Aztec for tuning into this one right here, and shouts to Urzenur Surzerig right there.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So the dog there is Puppy, and then Kunz's cat is Glitch, and then I don't know the name of Zartet's serpent in the background, but and the bear. It's just like over the horizon. Oh, I gotta get a dog.
Yeah.
Need a yard. Some surfs.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Too. I need a barbecue.
Yeah, with all that D&D money, I'm gonna make it happen. How much? So Trap Money wants to know how much for Kuntz to shave its head. Kuntz, how much would it cost for you to shave your head?
American.
Yeah.
25K.
$25,000.
Wow.
All right.
That attached.
All right. So Trap Money, that is like what is like maybe 33% of a Bitcoin right now. Well, actually, my math is fucking terrible right there. So like just a little over like whatever percentage of
30%.
Bitcoin. All right, so Trap Money. Well, also you got to have my cut there because I'm running the stream right there. So Trap Money, do you have $30,000 for Kunz to shave his head?
If you're paying me in Bitcoin, I'll change my price. I'll do it for. Let's see here.
No. Don't drop your first price.
No, stick with the first price.
You haven't heard the counter offer.
No, there's no counter offer. It's $30,000. So yeah, like,
Yeah.
So it's those locks are worth $25,000 to cunts, and I do have to say they're fucking glorious. So I wouldn't fucking shave my head right there if I had.
Yeah,
I would buy the wig.
You're looking
From the
at like
shaving.
4 or 5 years of growing hair for that to happen right
No, this is like 7. I think summer 2014. So.
Cut my
Yeah,
face
7
off?
years.
Yeah, I don't know, like in the Nicolas Cage movie kind of way, like doing Face Off.
I'm not cutting my face off.
The Trap Money is like
on.
questions are getting like more and more creepy. Who is Trap Money right there?
Would you cut your face off?
It's from YouTube.
Cut his
right there.
face off.
Oh shit! I see Milkness in the chat. Who is shouting out to Puppy.
Hell yeah. Hi, Melvin.
Hell yeah.
All right. So let's recount where we were. Oh, and I see a cat in the background. What's she getting a hold of?
The fish.
Oh, her fish. Oh,
Oh, I love that
she
fish.
loves that fish. All right. So when last we left off, so an eel type thing was streaming out of the cave. Kuntz's sorcery had been rudely stolen away from him. Logic's dagger just broke off in there. Zartet is still underneath of a Legionnaire who is losing strength. And then Angie, it's your turn to act. You and Fisk.
Are we still around like the Legionnaires that are
There are 4 of them still alive. The crocodile riders seem confused. Fighting this way is not their way.
Can I have Fisk go to like the nearest one to like attack?
You can just issue a general order to attack, and he will figure out what to do. Yeah, he's not
Okay.
he's not so much
Well,
for tactics and strategy. He's more for just whomping niggas.
But then do I have time to like pull out my fucking crossbow and try to hit that eel?
Let me see.
Crossbow.
So
sorry.
I think you have a regular
bow.
Yeah, you have the regular bow.
No, she has an ebony masterwork bow.
No bow.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't think they do masterwork
crossbow.
ebony bows right here. But just to say,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, this is not Skyrim. But
That's a 5th edition thing. No?
oh lord.
Or 3rd
Well,
edition.
she does have Uriagan's bow. How many times will that guy's name change over the course of the campaign?
Unarigan.
She has Unarigan's bow.
Unarigan.
Unarigan's bow. Thank you. God, I can never get that right. She has the eel is definitely streaming towards all of you. So you can take a shot at him right here. So you let slip and cry havoc and let loose the bears of war, and then turn your attention to the larger threat, which is the massive eel streaming towards the lot of you. So you knock an arrow and try to shoot it in the eye because it's so big. It's the only place that you think that you can do any damage. However, you're not able to nail it in the eye. An arrow protrudes from its snout, but it's no more difference to it than if like you were poked in the foot with a toothpick. Unfortunately, unsuccessful with your attack. Next up, so Kuntz, you are recovering from there and angered that some force within that cave has stolen away your mana. So you have a chance to act, rising to your feet. You could try and cast another spell or do something else.
Okie dokie. I'm going.
Crossbow's like right at your feet.
How is Zartet in the clear? Or is that guy still in Zartet?
He's still in trouble. Yeah, the guy's still on top of him.
I'm gonna rush over to Zartet and help him out
Okay.
by casting sleep on the person.
You're gonna try and cast sleep on the Legionnaire.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 30-yard range, so I guess I don't have to actually move that close to him.
Okay. So you've learned from the last time that you tried to cast sleep. You're much more powerful in the art right now. So Zartet, as the Legionnaire, raises up a fist to try and rain down hammer strikes onto the top of your head. You see his fist uncurl, and his arm falls slack, and then on top of you, he falls into a deep and like I wouldn't say blissful because he's burned all over and blinded, but he falls into a deep sleep, and you're able to worm your way out from beneath him and have a chance to make an attack of opportunity if you would like to.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
With my spear.
Very enthusiastic, Zartet.
Okay.
I'm gonna go at his throat.
Yeah. Yeah. So while he's there on the ground, you have no trouble lining up a shot and ending his life with considerable relish. The spear cuts right through his gorget and tears his throat out. This is the end of the blinded Legionnaire.
Oh yeah.
But as you finish off this one, the others are rushing forward too. There's a troop of heavily armed Legionnaires, and they're moving, ready to mow you down. However, as they're attempting to do so, you can hear a charge called by Rasp, and crocodiles rush into their midst. One that was advancing on you with a Warhammer wheels, only to have his head bitten directly off by a crocodile ridden by Jean the Younger. And into the fray of the crocodiles, you can see the maddened Big Croc rushing in, grabbing Legionnaires by the helmet, pulling them down, and just hammering on them with a big rock that he picked up from somewhere. So he's literally just bashing their heads with a rock while this is going on. So then, while this is going on, you start to see, coming from the cave, what looks like another eel, right? This one is slithering alongside that eel, kind of crowding it into the cave as it's emerging. So another eel is emerging from within the cave, just like slithering alongside that one, kind of slowing the progress of the big eel coming towards you. So Logic, now is your chance to act.
I am going to drop the handle of the demon-slaying dagger by the corpse of the Legionnaire, and I'm going to run back to my crossbow, pick it up off the sand, and fire at the spellcasting eel.
Okay. It's most
But
likely
I'm
that
also
was
going
not
to
the eel
advance
that was,
on it.
spell casting. But yeah, so
Oh, no,
you
it was
rush up-
not.
Yeah, I don't. It's not. It was a human.
Well, I don't
being.
want to rush up on them, but I want to close the distance, and I don't want to do it through the Legionnaires. I just want to get closer to make my shots more effective.
Okay. So your crossbow is still wound. The tension was not released. It did not misfire when you were there. And you rush forward. The great black eyes of the eel track you as you rush forward. And in fact, it tracks you a little too closely because you're able to shoot it right in the eye. So your bolt
Sweet.
punctures through it there. And the head of the eel whips back and forth in sudden agony. And you notice that the other eel that's there, its head whips back and forth too. Like it's also seems to be like very upset by what's happening to the other eel there. So next, let's see. So Zartet, you have crawled out from underneath. Kuntz, you just cast a very successful sleep spell. Angie, you find that just after your last action, 2 different Legionnaires are rushing towards you. They have identified you as a potential threat, and they're coming for you. So let's see. You try to ward off their blows, but unfortunately, as you're trying to duck under the swing of one with an axe, another one nails you in the side with his hammer, and you are quite injured by the hammer, to say the truth. You're
Great.
struck for 8 points of damage, and you feel like a sharp pain in your side and you worry that potentially one of your ribs is broken. However, as you pitch forward, clutching her side, you slip right under the swing of the Legionnaire's axe that might have beheaded you. So it's not all bad. Immediately as this happens, you hear an angry roar that splits the air. Then we turn to, so Logic, you just successfully fired the arrow. Zartet, you've dusted off. And what you can see is Fisk the bear is charging towards 2 Legionnaires that are attacking Angie. And back towards the cave, you sort of see the 2 eels that are together. One of them that just took a crossbow bolt is thrashing around. The other one is thrashing against it. And then you see another eel trying to squeeze its way through there. So a third different eel was in the same cave, and all of them are kind of caught inside and thrashing around, moving towards. So you're seeing like a sort of third head try to squeeze its way out of this cavern, and bits of rock are flying aside, and the ground is shaking, and sand is cascading down from above.
Okay.
It's like a clown car in this cave.
Yeah. I can't do anything about the eels just yet, so I'm going to try to assist Angie here, or Fisk.
Mhm.
Just going at it with my spear.
Okay. So the Legionnaire that just tried to cut her head off with his double-headed axe is closest to you. That fell on its side. Okay. You go after him with the spear, but their armor is quite heavy, and they're in the midst of battle. These are heavily trained fighters. You are not as skilled in the martial arts as they are. So one of them just immediately recognizes what you're trying to do and knocks your spear away with the haft of his axe and turns towards you. Whew. It's a wicked blow that he delivers onto you. So, Zartet, you are struck with a slash that strikes across your chest and digs in deep. Forevermore, you will have a scar from this blow that runs from the start of your neck right here in a deep slash all the way across the front of your chest, cutting through your clothes, dealing you 14 points of damage.
Fuck.
And you are also bleeding heavily. Muscles have been cut. You are in terrible pain. Okay. Cunts.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to have to use that powder.
I'm going
Maybe.
to... who's in bigger danger right now, Angie or Zartet?
So Zartet, you just saw him get cleaved nearly in half with a double-headed battle axe. Angie also took like a pretty serious blow. They're both in pretty severe danger from these 2 Legionnaires.
Oh, fuck.
Which one are the Legionnaires going after right now? Or closest to?
Well, one of they're both fairly close to you. They're less than 20 feet away from you.
How heavy is Fisk the bear? How much does he weigh in pounds?
Fisk the bear is sitting at a good 650 pounds.
Is he a male bear?
He is a male bear.
Because I Googled it, and Google says 1,700 pounds.
Well, 1,700 pounds for a grizzly. But Fisk is a different sort of bear altogether. He is a silverback bear. Yeah.
So how heavy is he again?
He's about 650 pounds, but he's not full grown, by the way.
Okay. That's
still bigger than Angie.
I'm going to cast my other haste on Fisk the bear, and hopefully he turns into a bowling ball, and if you can't kill him, knock him over.
So 70 chess moves, man.
Oh my god.
Glitch's cat food alarm went off accidentally a second time, so she thinks she's getting more food.
Yeah, normally a simple beast that was struck by magic and suddenly hasted might panic, right? It might like freak out. It might not know what to do with itself. Fisk the bear, on the other hand, is in his element, and he flies into the fray, swinging his mighty paws, and just barrels into the two Legionnaires there. They raise their weapons against him, but it is all for naught, because they cannot stop this juggernaut. You hear a sound, it's almost like crinkling tin, as one of their helmets is stomped into the ground, and then the crack of a rupturing skull. That was the one that hit Angie in the side with his hammer, and then the other one that wounded Zartet so severely tries to run away from the bear, but immediately jaws close around his leg and tear it fully off. So he is rent limb from limb. The bear, hasted up, is able to befall both foes at once. From the cavern with the eels, with a tremendous effort, those three eels that seemed like they were caught in the mouth of the cave force their way forward, and you can see pieces of rock breaking off and shattering. And as the eels move forward, you start to realize that they are not three separate eels. They are a single beast fused together with three different heads. And what's more, as you see this one emerge, you start to see more eyes staring out from the other caves, watching what's going on here, as overhead thunder rolls and roils, and the rain is now pouring down on all of you. Further attacks that you take will be in light of the pouring rain that is hitting you all.
Shit. How is Zartet able to cast spells in this condition?
So Zartet is sorely wounded, but he's a tough old man. So he can he can still cast spells. It's just the grievousness of that particular wound that momentarily stunned him. So Logic, you're the next one with the chance to act. So as you look closer, what you can see is that on the back of this strange eel hydra, you can see a familiar face, the warlock that initially accompanied the Legionnaires, that rushed off and leapt off of the cliff, has apparently made his way all the way down here, and he's riding on the back of this eel with three heads.
I am going to crank and fire.
Who's riding on the back of the eel?
So riding on the back of the eel,
that we almost killed.
Yeah, is the warlock that you remember where this was back at the Copper Canyons, or the Copper Lizard Canyons, or Honeycomb Caves, where he brought a different cohort of Legionnaires and was expending them quite readily, sucking away their life force to heal himself, and casting a fireball upon them. And ultimately, on the threshold of defeat, he raced off and leapt off of the cliff and plunged some 100 feet down into the sea below and was seen no more. But he is seen again riding on the back of this three-headed eel hydra.
Great.
Well, and approximately how far away is he?
So the riding on the back of the eels, he is some, let me see, I would say that he's about 50 feet away from me, Logic.
Oh, nice. Yeah, crank and fire at that motherfucker. Let me do that.
So you're going to take a shot at the blind
Yes, sir.
warlock.
Oh, no. Or maybe, oh, yes.
Gaze upon it.
Nice.
Oh, I'm
Oh, yeah.
sideways. So
Is that a fail or?
Yeah.
that's a 20. That's a critical hit.
Demon Slayer, Wizard Slayer,
What the
Ladies Man.
Oh, +1 because of prayer.
oh my god. Jesus. Um, so this is not the first time that you've encountered this blind wizard, and I'll tell you that one consequence of him being having his eyes
Blind?
fused shut is that he doesn't have the ability to dodge. So when you stand there and crank your crossbow and line up and let fly, he never saw it coming, right? The bolt enters his body. I want to say probably on his left side and exits his body through the front. The bolt shoots completely through him, and you can see a spray of dark blood. It is a tremendously efficacious shot. He slumps and falls off of the eel. But one of the things that you're noticing is that there's a strange and prismatic sheen to the skin of the eel. And something has definitely been done to this beast. But the wizard slumps to the ground, and it's unlikely that he will rise anytime soon. He's grievously wounded.
Hell yeah. Fuck that motherfucker.
What's up with Logic? Just critting the shit.
Isn't that
telling
like
you,
everybody
just-
is critical?
That's his second.
Yeah, I'm the lucky guy.
That's
it.
his second.
Plus, he's hasted, so he gets a second turn.
Yeah, he does indeed get. a
Well,
second
I was cranking, and then
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
Seems like one turn.
So, yeah, once again, the gods seem to smile on Logic right there. So, Angie, you and Zartet have recovered here. Fisk is just barreling in to the whole cohort of Legionnaires. And the crocodile riders, who were on the crocodiles who had been so suspicious of Fisk at first, see that he's waiting in there and just doing grievous damage to everybody in his path, and they start getting into the fray too. While the crocodile riders are almost useless against the Legionnaires, the crocodiles are not. With their great bulk and their chomping teeth, they are able to wade into the Legionnaires and begin to make short work of them there. Fisk has really turned the tide for all of them. And it's good, too, because the Hydra, the Eel Hydra, is moving towards all of you. Logic was able to pick off the Warlock before he could get any further spells off. But the Hydra seems hell-bent on a lot of you right there. So you have a chance to act before it retaliates against Logic.
Am I super close to it?
You're relatively close. Yeah, it's probably only about 20 or 30 feet away from you.
Would I have time to go at it with the longsword?
You do. Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right, so seeing that Logic is in danger and that his shot has been expended, you rush forward with Bixby's blade. But just as it had against a certain rigged pig a little bit earlier.
I can't catch a break, man.
Just putting it out there. I wouldn't tell you no wrong. That is a big
Was that a 3?
right there. So you'd like to call it part of being so hurt by your earlier encounter there. As you're rushing forward with your blade, you just feel a twinge in your side from your injured ribs, and you try to swing at the eel, and then you realize that you've overbalanced yourself, and you roll out of the way before one of the heads can slam down against you and crush you into the sand. So you roll out of the way, but you don't even get a swing off. Just your injury has betrayed you. Next, Kuntz, you are free to act.
Sure. As I gaze around, do I see any packs of crocodiles about to run towards anything?
So most of the crocodiles are so everything has become a confused melee. And right now the crocodiles are just wading in and chomping whatever legionnaires they can. Their riders are rushing in to support, trying to distract with their spears and so forth. It is just a all-out war between the brave crocodile riders and the legionnaires. And the
Is there any
as far as you can see,
crocodile off by itself looking like he's about to sneak attack or anything?
no, the crocodiles are not really. They don't think that far ahead. They have reptilian brains, so they see a threat and they go and bite it.
Okay, so the crocs and the legionnaires are off somewhere else, and then there's one eel or two eels?
So there's one eel that you can see right now, but it has 3 heads. There's one wizard that or warlock that's fallen to the ground, and in the other caves you can see the glint of eyes.
Is the warlock dead or incapacitated?
You know that he got hit in the chest with a crossbow. That there was a huge spray of blood, and that he fell off of the back of a giant greasy hydra and fell some 20 feet to the ground. Whether he's dead or alive, you could go over there and check if you really want.
I'm gonna rush over to him.
Okay,
and
you're going after the
withdraw
warlock?
My hammer.
So you're going over there with the...
He escaped my hammer in episode 3. He is not escaping today.
Okay. So you rush over to the side of the warlock with the mighty hammer drawn.
Wooden
All right.
handle.
With its wooden handle right there. And while he's on the ground, struggling to rise, you rain down a mighty blow. And he only manages to turn his skull aside at the very last moment.
Oof.
Your claw hammer smashes into his shoulder, and you feel the crack of bone just splintering beneath your blow. And let's move on to, let me see, eeny, meeny, miny.
Zartet's up next.
I believe
Yeah.
Zartet is
Fisk.
next, yeah.
I gotta do something.
Yeah.
What about Fisk?
No, Fisk is
There's no
deep in the
one-
mix right now. He is in a complete rage and cannot be instructed or called back. He's berserking.
Am I in any immediate danger?
No,
There's someone
actually,
coming towards me.
You're bleeding a lot, and
Yeah,
you
and I'm
suffered a
prone.
serious
I'm on the
wound.
ground.
No, you've been able to limp back to your feet, but like your wound has sand in it, and you see that Angie is also somewhat injured. Both of you are hurting for certain.
Good bear
How-
picnic time.
You got hit pretty hard, Angie. I
So-
missed that.
Yeah, Angie
No,
got
it
nailed
was-
in the ribs. She took 8 points of damage, but it was nothing
Okay.
compared to the blow that you took.
Mhm. Yeah, it was like a good third of my life.
And you're bleeding too. This is like an active injury.
Well, if I'm in no immediate danger, I'm gonna cast Cure Light Wounds on myself.
How much does Cure Light Wounds heal for?
1d8.
However, you're also buoyed by the power of your prayer. So you
Right,
actually
and it does
heal.
kind of stop state-based effects.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit like that.
So not only are you able to heal 9 points of damage, but you feel a revitalizing energy through you, almost as if the spell is healing for more than you can heal just on your own.
Nice.
So you can feel like an additional twinge of power. Also, the warriors are watching your wounds close up, and again, their morale is bolstered. These are men
Nice.
who have been raised on legends. They are true believers, and when they see that you can close your own wounds, it lifts their spirits and gives them new resolve to fight against the superior armored foe. Right there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the next, Angie, you are tumbled into the sand right now, and you can see a blur as Logic, who is hasted, can now take his next action.
Yes. What is the eel focused on? Can I tell
So
if it's focused on me or Angie now?
yeah, right now the eel is almost totally unhurt, except for one of its one has its eye closed. So you see the one head has its eye closed, but it's very confusing to fight against this thing because the heads are constantly weaving and moving back and forth. And indeed, as you're looking up at it, it looks back at you, and almost faster than you can blink, one of those giant heads rushes forward and tries to take a bite out of you. You're able,
Right out of crime.
yeah, you're able to leap aside, but just the trailing point of one of its fangs digs into your shoulder and cuts a deep gouge there.
Shit.
And almost immediately, you feel your entire left shoulder go numb. So anything that requires two hands is beyond you right now. You have just one working arm. It's your right arm. Was your character left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Nope. Well, that's a lucky thing, because that left arm is done. So the eel actually has paralyzing venom, which now you know, and soon the others may find out right there.
Okay, I'm going to yell in my like super high-pitched voice, like, like watch out for the... watch out for its fangs. But I'm sure it sounds like that, like,
Yeah.
or whatever, shit. Oh.
So you can still act, but whatever you do, it must be with one arm.
Well, that's lucky. Because I was going to try to stab it. But
With what?
Where I am, I mean, of course,
With what?
it has
Do you have
3
your short
eyes.
sword?
Well, I have my short sword, my friend. Yeah.
Okay. So
Of course.
you
I
take-
always have something. I'm a thief.
Yeah, you take a swipe at the head that just bit you with your short sword, and indeed, and just honestly, like when it's clutch, you really seem to come in there. So this is one of the uninjured heads,
Sweet.
and your short sword cuts a slash across its eye, and you can just feel the flesh parting. And with a great wail,
Nice.
the head rears up, and now you have 2 half-blinded heads and 1 intact head of the Hydra.
How many hit points of damage did I take from the...
So when the
venomous
blade cut
fang?
in your... I'd almost forgotten about that. It was only a surface wound, so you only took 1 point of
Oh,
damage
nice.
from it.
Wow,
But at the
fuck,
same time,
yeah.
that arm is just dead weight to you now. It's so strange. It's like...
I'll tuck it into my pants.
So Kuntz... It's the stranger. We lost video on Logic.
Oh no.
And does everybody else not see him, or is it just me?
Yeah, I can't see him.
Nah, he's gone.
Yeah, he lost out. Of
He
the
got too excited.
I know, right? He like tucked his hand into his pants, like, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick, guys.
Time for another shower.
All right, well, let's wait a little bit. I bet that his Linux machine crashed on him, and he's cursing Torvalds as we speak, waiting for it to reboot. But what comes next is just between you, Kuntz, and the Warlock. So you nail this guy in the shoulder with your hammer. He is bleeding profusely through the chest. But there's something about this Yarly Warlock that refuses to succumb to injuries that would...
So I'm basically gonna kneel on him, like straddle him. like in a-
Actually, it's his turn to act now, not yours.
well, it's
so,
not fair.
Yeah, I know. He gets a chance to do things too. So you remember the words to the spell because you heard it uttered before when he stole the life from his own Legionnaires, from, I think, a goat that he hit before. But you have never before felt the effects of life-stealing magic. So this is your first time. So you can feel your own strength begin to wane as your essence is sucked out of you and drawn into the Warlock. So you suffer 5 points of damage. And as you suffer them, there he is. Hey, welcome back.
Sorry, guys.
Did
I don't
your
know what
machine
happened.
crash completely?
No, not. I don't know what happened.
Okay. So, Kuntz, you suffer 5 points of damage, and you feel chilled to your very core. You've been touched by a darkness that has left you a little bit phased, to tell you the truth. Your fingers feel numb, and the world seems like a colder place to you now. So you lose 5 points of health, and the warlock has gained them. All right, so Angie,
shit.
you can see Fisk just tearing shit apart in the background, but meanwhile, you're concerned with the fangs of this monstrous Hydra eel. So 2 of the heads are concerned with Logic right here, and he just cut off one of the eyes, but one goes after you. And just darts down, and it's you try to dash out of the way, but it's so large, there's really nowhere to go. The fangs close around you, and unfortunately, with your side injured, you can't really dodge out of the way. So they close on you, and you are impaled through the thigh by one of the fangs. So immediately, you can feel the whole right side of your body go numb as poison pumps through you. You suffer.
Can I run over and grab her and pull her back?
Well,
Drag her off into the fucking...
It's the snake's time to act right now. And so the eel is trying to swallow you. You have suffered 11 points of damage, and the right-hand side of your body is not functioning. Are you still alive?
Yup.
How many hit points do you have left?
Shit.
16.
16? All right. So you're still able to fight, but about half of your body is numb right now. And the eel is throwing you back and trying to swallow you whole. You're trying to fight it off with half of your strength there. So Logic, you were able to slay one of the eyes right here. Angie is still caught in the fangs of this thing. You can take one chance to try and save her and pull her free before the beast swallows her. What is your dexterity?
I will do that.
Well, what is your dexterity?
It is 16.
All right, this is going to take all of your quickness, all of your speed.
Or,
fortunately,
I
you're
could
hasted.
pull a fate card.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh. Well, you can take the check, or you can pull a fate card, whatever you prefer. I will tell you, with 16 dexterity, your chances are probably better with your check.
Okay, if I feel like I can do it, then I'll try that. Let's try that.
Okay. Because once a fate card is pulled, I cannot change fate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, God.
No. Gander upon this. So you can't. This is where it should be at right here. I know. I'm
15?
sideways.
Right.
15. Oh. So, maybe like a few years before, you would not have been quick enough to save her, right? Maybe if you had trained a little less hard, maybe if you didn't want to save her so much, you wouldn't have been fast enough. Maybe if you weren't magically hasted by Kuntz, you would not have been swift enough to make this happen. But as it stands, you were able to pull Angie from the jaws of the serpent as it tries to snap her shut and wrench her free. The fang pulls from her thigh in a great gush of blood. And once you see that she's safe, you have the opportunity to go in for another attack.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Short sword to the face.
So
oh, no.
Don't. Oh, no. Me right there. This is 17.
Yes.
So this was the uninjured head that you were attacking right here. It is uninjured no longer. Angered by its attack on your friend, you jab it through the eye and then wheel backwards and go for another strike and cleave through its other eye. That head is completely blinded, thrashing wildly, and the other heads are carried along with it. So great is its pain that the other heads must suffer too, and all of you are disturbed as the heads slam against the ground and batter the sand, and really the whole fight falls to a standstill as it's thundering overhead, and these huge heads of this Hydra are slamming against the sand and smashing against you. So Kuntz, you are knocked free of the life-stealing grip of the warlock just in the nick of time right here. Yes. While he was sucking out your life, you suffered another 5 points of damage. which
So
were
10
fed
in total,
into him.
or?
10 total. So 5 last time and 5 this round. But it knocks you free of his steel grip. And
Wait,
you're
you
able.
got 2 turns in a row?
Yeah, he like latched onto you and then just started stealing your life and did not stop. He's like a leech. Had he not been knocked aside by his own empowered creation, he would have sucked you dry until you were nothing but a husk.
Sweet.
Yeah. And so, Zartet, your own wounds are healed, but you can see that Angie is gravely wounded. What's your dexterity?
13.
Okay. And you're able to dodge aside, just because the guy is so wounded. Angie, what is your dexterity?
15.
Okay, 15. But half of you is paralyzed right now. But even half of you is faster than this injured Hydra. So as it's thrashing about and slamming, you manage to roll out of the way right there and fall aside. And then Logic, you were the one that dealt the killing blow, or the wounding blow, at least. What is your dexterity?
16.
Okay. You almost dance aside away from it, borne on a magical haste, and are able to escape as it's just lashing about and so forth. So to give you an idea of what's happening with the Legionnaires, you wouldn't have thought it was possible that a bunch of basically savages armed with nothing but spears and crocodiles could overcome a cohort, but that's exactly what's happening right now. There are only 3 Legionnaires left standing, and there are 5 different crocodiles encircling them and snapping in. Many of the warriors of Stilt City are laid out on the ground, having died valiantly. And in fact, as you look to see what's happening, you can see Big Croc breathing his last, covered in a pile of dead that fell.
Croc.
Yeah, fell by the stone in his seat. The women who were in the canoes have advanced, and they are throwing stones and hatchets at the remaining 3 Legionnaires. But not many of the brave warriors are left any longer. The Legionnaires were more than a match for some of them. What you're noticing is that now, out of the other caves, more eels are beginning to poke their heads free. And you may soon be faced with more eels than you would care to deal with. Here.
Shit.
Yeah. So, and the Hydra eel is still alive and thrashing around like mad.
How is the storm?
The storm is getting worse by the moment.
How long would it take us to get up the ramp?
If you run for it right now,
Yes.
probably about 7 or 8 minutes. Also, just to give you an idea on the progress of Fist the Bear has taken several wounds over the course of fighting with armed men and so forth. He is still fighting mightily, but the haste spell has worn off of him. And now he is suffering some of the, what we would call the post-haste crash. And so he's more vulnerable now because the magic is worn off of him. And Logic, you can also feel that your own haste is beginning to flag.
What are the status of everybody? I mean, like, is anybody? Angie is going to need help walking, I guess.
Yeah, Angie needs to be carried at this point.
Can I ride on Fisk?
Kuntz is like Kuntz can jog, but he cannot run. He's been a lot of his life has been sucked away by
So
this
are we
warlock.
Are we retreating right now? Is that
It's
what's
up to
going
you.
Well, it's
It's up
either
to you what you can do.
7 or 8 minutes up the fucking ramp.
Won't the warlock and everyone just follow us?
They're all in pretty shitty shape right now. Everybody is in terrible shape, but more eels are emerging, and they look. They're not quite as big as the Hydra that you guys are fighting, but more of them have been drawn by the sound of battle.
How about
While
the
we're all
soldiers?
deciding,
How about
while
the
we're all
soldiers?
deciding, I
Yeah,
want to go
louder.
back over to that Legionnaire that I lost my dagger in, and I want to go fish in there with my fingers and grab the fucking dagger out of that guy and the hand.
All right. So I'm gonna let's see. Okay. You're able.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're able to pinpoint the guy and pull free your blade. Your other companions are looking at you like, what the fuck is he doing? You know, like we're fighting a giant hydra. And a lot of people are like, what is it? They feel like you've lost your mind, and so yeah, it's a bizarre thing to do in the middle of a heated battle, and
Yes,
your
true.
companions are shaken by your bizarre actions. All right, Angie, you are struggling to like shake off the effects of this venom. What is your constitution?
12.
12. All right.
We got to get back on the boats.
All right. So your strength is great, but the poison strength is equally great. And for a moment, you feel yourself at equilibrium. You can feel sort of like a clenching hand at your throat. You can feel like every breath is harder to take than the next, and you feel like your system is shutting down. But at the same time, you're still strong enough to try and stand and to lope away. Right now, you are equalized with the poison. You've fought it to a standstill. So, Kuntz, you can see the warlock is attempting to cast a spell. You have a chance maybe to cast a spell or try another attack against him. Wary always of the fact that he just stole a bunch of your life away from you. Or you could run.
I'm gonna cast Fireball on him.
Okay, you are right next to this guy. You're literally standing next to him.
Can I
you
dual
can
wield
fireball.
my hammer and my gauntlet?
Your gauntlet? Which gauntlet?
Yeah, the gold gauntlet. Goblet. Sorry.
The
gold
goblet.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that
Yes.
makes
So
fire.
indeed, you can do this.
Flash his face in.
So as you pull the goblet
Just piss
free,
fire on him.
as you pull the goblet free from your enchanted jockstrap, no, as you pull the goblet free from your pants, you notice that a light is pouring out of the cup, and indeed, what seems to be like liquid fire is pouring out, some sort of magma, or it's almost like a burning gold is sort of sloshing out of the cup and pouring everywhere. And as soon as this happens, the warlock is like rigid. He stands straight up, and out of his mouth he hisses, and it's almost an inhuman sound. He demands, "Give me the cup." And out of it, like fire is sloshing out, and he holds out a hand demanding the cup from you. So, and you have your claw hammer in your hand and the cup of sloshing molten metal in your other hand.
I sort of pretend to give him the cup with my left hand to sort of fake him out. So he reaches forward for it, and then wham! Across the jaw with the hammer.
Let's see if he falls for your ruse.
That's a good ruse,
my
though.
God.
Oh,
But it was indeed a good ruse.
Yes.
But this is no mere country bumpkin that you're facing off against. What are we looking at right here?
Can't see
You
that.
see this guy? No, it's worse than you think.
Oh,
no. Oh no.
So yeah.
Oh no.
Sadly, while it seems like a good plan to you, the cup has other ideas. It froths and sees, and with a blast of superheated You can only call it, literally like burning gold is blasting out of this in a column, and you are struck fully in the face by the goblet, by its sudden eruption. So you take 10 points of damage, and you are momentarily blinded as you're blasted in the face by the goblet. You feel it wrenched out of your hand as you fall to the ground in agony. And the next thing that you hear is footsteps racing away from you. As the rest of you see Kuntz sort of inexplicably like blasted in the face, and an explosion of flame and a flash of lights and so forth. So you can see the running form of a warlock just changing shape as it's running. Normally, Angie, you would have a chance to react here, but you're too injured. Logic, you are too far away from him. You can only throw something.
Zartet Spear.
And then Zartet, you also have a chance to act, but this guy is running away from you, and his outline is shimmering. And
where is he running to?
He's
like
just
up the
running
ramp into a
No,
cavern?
he's running away from you, sort of directly towards the cliff wall.
Okay, I will throw my fucking short sword.
Okay, you fling your sword
At
at
him.
him.
Yes.
The sword flies completely wide. It's very awkward to throw a sword, and the rain is beating down on you. So Zartet, what are you up to?
Am I able to like quickly cast Shillelagh on the spear and
No.
then try to chunk it?
You have time to cast a spell or to throw the spear.
All right, then I'll just throw the spear.
Okay. You fling the spear that ultimately ended the rigged peg and so many other powerful foes. But today, your shot flies wide, and as the warlock flees off with the goblet in his hand, just beads of molten metal are left hissing in the sand, sort of spitting in the rain. You can hear Kuntz just crying out in pain, rolling back and forth on the sand, and you can see the warlock change form, and wings unfurl from his back, and he begins just running up the side of the cliff with his wings beating behind him, and then he completes his transformation and flies away as some sort of bat-winged abomination.
Shit.
Fucker.
So he...
Well, now we have two missions.
Yeah, he has
I hate
stolen...
this man.
He has stolen the golden goblet at last. So as this is going on, you can see that Fisk is sorely injured, and he is now sort of limping away from the Legionnaires. There are only you can make a Constitution check to try and shrug off the poison, but there are only 2 Legionnaires remaining. But those two Legionnaires just put away the last of the crocodiles. So all around you is blood and ruin. You can see Rask wheezing and spitting up blood on the sand. And Jian, the younger, takes a final dash towards the Legionnaires and just rushes forward with his final javelin and drives it into the eye socket of one of the Legionnaires, only to be smoten in the back by the great sword of the other one there. So one Legionnaire is left still standing, and there is nothing left of the brave crocodile warriors other than the women at a distance throwing everything that they can, but they've thrown all the stones and everything that they have, and now they're left throwing fistfuls of sand and crying.
We've got to, I'm going to yell at them to get the boats back in the water.
Yeah, there is a storm raging out there. That's suicide.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot take a canoe in a storm like this. But there is only one Legionnaire left alive.
But then the snakes. We got to get up the ramp.
Yeah. There are indeed eels emerging. and you can see them moving towards. They can smell all the death around them, and they see an easy feast for the taking. However,
Do I see
the
any
Hydra
daggers on their belts or anything?
right now, it's too much going on. The Hydra is retreating back into the cave. I think it only has one remaining eye that works among its 3 heads, and is done with the fight. And now the 3 heads are sort of fighting with each other, trying to fit into the cave as it's retracting there. So Angie, what's your constitution? I think it was
12.
like 12.
12, yeah.
Okay. Again, you try to shrug off the effects of the venom, but it's too much for you. Your skin feels cold and clammy, and you see Fisk needs your help, and you can see the 3 women from the canoes behind you, just in terrible danger. You can see the eels moving all around you, but just the poison saps your strength, and you cannot act. All right, so Zartet, it's your chance to act.
We could tell she's poisoned, right?
Oh yeah, she's poisoned and in rough shape. And Kuntz has also taken a tremendous amount of damage, and he's in rough shape.
Is it reasonable for us to try to make it up the ramp?
Yes, it's in fact, it's obvious that you need to flee at this point.
Okay, I'm in the process of yelling at chicks, like, let's pick all this up and get up the fucking ramp.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to intercede.
When you say
Zartet, but
no. When you say pick all this up, what do you mean?
I mean, let's, everybody who survived, let's rally on this, and let's,
Okay, so you're basically
up
just shouting, run, go for the ramp, right?
No, yeah, well, yeah, I'm like, let's go, we gotta go.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's something that you can yell in the span of time. So you're yelling, we have to retreat. Let's go. Okay, so Zartet, you have 2 people who are too injured to rise right now. Both Kuntz and Angie are incapacitated.
Will Fisk take me?
They're incapacitated.
Yeah,
Well, I was
Angie
gonna
can't
cast-
move. Yeah, Kuntz is temporarily.
But the chicks are
blind.
coming over.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I think if this poison's gonna keep fucking with Angie,
Mhm.
I want to try cure disease on her. Will that cure the poison?
So just
Well,
FYI,
that'll work on anything.
no, cure disease does not work on poison. Cure poison is the specific spell. So
Oh, yeah.
as a druid, you would not waste your cure disease on her. You
Totally.
yeah, you would know that she either needs to be carried, or something else has to happen. Yeah, in D&D, cure disease and poison are just 2 completely separate disciplines.
Yeah, I got you. I saw the poison spell.
Mm-hmm.
Will cure light wounds do anything?
Yeah, it'll heal some of her damage. She'll
Well,
still be
still,
poisoned, but Kuntz, if you wanted to,
Who's the worse off between the 2 of them?
Yeah.
Angie can move, but Kuntz is he's just been blasted terribly, and he's in danger that he'll be scarred if he doesn't receive healing.
All right. Well, I'll as we're moving, I'll put hands on Kuntz and
Okay.
try to get him up.
All right, so Kuntz, you have been blasted in the face with the molten metal from the goblet, which you now realize is more powerful than any of you dared dream. So if you're healed for 4 or more points, you will not scar up. But if it's less than 4, you will suffer significant scarring. You are healed for 2 points of damage by Zartet. So just in the future, when your character moves forward, those scars will never fade for the most part. So just modeling your face are the unmistakable touch of the cup's issue. But you are healed for 2 points of damage, and as a consequence of it, you begin to be able to see again, which is the more important part of the 2. All right, so logic, as you're rushing forward and deciding to retreat, if you want to, you can attempt to carry Angie with you and help her along.
That's what
Okay.
I'm going to
What's
go
your
grab
strength?
Angie and then yell at the...
This
Strength is 13.
13. You're not quite strong enough to carry her up on your own. You have to call out to Zartet for help. So Zartet,
And also the women, I'm like, come help us.
They are not listening to what you've said, and so forth.
Okay.
They
What are they doing?
a little bit panicking,
scared.
they're running back to their canoes. They
Oh, shit.
yeah, they are not listening to what you said. You're just you're not an authority within their
Well,
tribe.
thanks for nothing.
Okay, so so Kuntz, you're now capable of moving under your own power, and Fisk will follow wherever Angie goes. So Zartet, if you and Logic want to, you can carry her up the path before, hopefully before the eels come
Yeah.
to you.
We have no choice.
All right. So the four of you set off in retreat, carrying Angie up as she's poisoned, with a very injured bear loping after you. And for a moment, it seems like the eels might be ready to follow after you and like slither their way up the thing. But then they see that there's easier prey to be had on the beach, and they move towards the women in the canoes and the already fallen right there. So the four of you are able to retreat up the path and reach the top of the path, and you see just a tremendous thunderstorm scouring the plains above, like trees getting knocked over, grasses whipping in the wind, and lightning cracking down all around you. And you have survived a terrible battle, but you're sorely taxed. And we'll have to find out what comes next in our next adventure.
Don't
That was very intense.
Yeah, it was a lot.
fucking Hydra.
Hydras, plural.
Oh, the Legion was the real fucker.
Yeah. You were right the whole time.
Damn.
It's wild there. And the enchanted crotch goblet is no more. That was a
Well, for now.
It is more.
Mhm.
We have two missions now.
More.
Okay, so just FYI, by the time that you heal, you will have gained great experience from your last several adventures. You will advance to the next level, and furthermore, be halfway to the next one there.
Wow.
Because you've learned a great deal after this, and the battle was sorely taxing and required skills from all of you there. But
Awesome.
yeah. All right, so this ends IRC D&D Adventure number 12. And thank you to everybody who tuned in, and thank you to the players. Once again, Big Angie, Kuntz, Logic, the Demon Slayer with the broken blade, and Zartet, our Master Archivist, and the only thing holding this party together at this point, because they'd all be dead. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week. We're here every Tuesday, and thank you for tuning in. Penis Bomb.
Aloha.